Hello, my name is LaKeisha. The name of this channel is Aging Out to Adulting. This channel is aimed at giving life skills advice to former foster kids who have aged out of foster care. The first two videos will be an introduction to the channel, describing me, my plight through the foster care system, and my aging out process. This channel will attempt to provide the following items: community, resources for career development, for example, driving school, life coaching, and life skills. If you are interested in these topics, please keep watching. Also, hit the like, subscribe, and notification icons. And if you know a former foster kid who has aged out of the system, please recommend this channel to him or her. Again, my name is LaKeisha. I'm a former foster kid that came out of the system. I'm 50 years old. I am a retired teacher. I have a husband, a stepdaughter, and I am a homeowner. There are many roads to foster care I like to share my path in. When I was born, my mother was in a juvenile detention program. Basically, she was in jail. So, from my understanding right now, if you are serving time in jail as a woman, you can keep your baby with you for the first year. At the time, 1975, you couldn't keep your baby. So that meant I was going straight into the system. The social worker came to my Filipino grandmother's home and they asked her if she wanted me. She said no. I think she was ill equipped as an immigrant and overwhelmed. The social worker also went to my father's house. My grandmother was African American. There was a resounding no there too. So 5 days old, I went into foster care. Years later, my aunt told me, no one wanted you. As I think back on this, I really think to this day that God was on my side. I have officially been in one foster home. By the time I was 4, I realized I was in the wrong place. I distinctly remember sitting in the kitchen by the freezer in my foster mother's home, and I remember thinking, I don't look like anyone, and I don't belong here. I just didn't want to be there. I didn't have the notion of self deletion because I was only 4 years old, but I knew I didn't want to exist. Then one day, an old lady was sitting in the hallway of the apartment building where we lived. She was wearing an oxygen mask and she had magazines of some sort in her hand. She invited me in and gave me peach cobbler and Haagen-Dazs ice cream. From then on, she would have Bible studies with me and take me to the Kingdom Hall. I felt at home with these people because I wasn't around for an ulterior motive. I was just one of the kids in the Kingdom Hall. I think me being around these people was God's way of protecting me. My biological father surrendered his rights when I was 7 years old. I didn't know it at the time, but my biological father did me a favor. I was adopted by my foster mother. She was compensated by the agency in a process known as subsidized adoption. My adopted mother was 47 when I was adopted. She was a black woman from Alabama. In many ways, it was a blessing being raised by an older black woman from Alabama. My adoptive mother had a brother, my uncle. My adoptive family gave me all the basics: food, clothing, and shelter. There was no sexual abuse and occasional spanking, but that was about it. So, as a foster child, I never suffered any physical neglect. Up until I was 7, everything was okay, until it wasn't. In second grade, I created a little pamphlet about my adoption story. I excitedly came home to show my mother my creation because my teacher had praised me for the project. She read the pamphlet and said, "Why'd you tell all those people you were adopted? Are you ashamed of me?" My adopted mother saw it as an attack on her because she was dark skinned. Thereafter, she would show me the movie Imitation of Life. It's the story of a light skinned daughter born to a dark skinned mother. The daughter would deny being black and she eventually abandoned her mother. I was 7 years old. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just sharing my adoption story with my teacher and the class. My mother and my relationship was never the same after that. I was barely given attention in the home. Eventually, I attempted self deletion when I was 12. I was only saved by my seventh grade teacher. Thereafter, I went to therapists, but the therapist didn't help. By the time I was 13, I was sexually active. And by the time I was 16, I had multiple sexual partners. I was looking for love and connection in the only way I knew how at the time. My adopted family gave up hope in me, chastising me, saying, "You'll be another teenage mother." Many times, my adopted family reminded me that I was adopted. My adopted brother also went to high school with some of my adopted extended family. They made it very clear that we were not real family. When I was 16, I was working in a clothing store owned by my adopted family. My cousin, who was running the store, was a drug addict. My mother took out a loan for her to open the shop. When my cousin couldn't make the payments to my mother, my cousin said I was stealing from the shop. My cousin went as far as pressing charges on me. I went to trial and was put on probation. My mother stood by and allowed all this to happen and even testified in court that I was the drug addict. I lost all trust in her at that point. I'll stop here as part one of my aging out story. Part two will continue with my early adulthood story as I aged out of foster care. Please recommend this channel to anyone you know who has aged out of the system or share your experience of aging out below. Thank you for watching the channel.